Hello, hello, it's Rachel. I have hamsters and I'm back. Finally getting back to you now that the new year has come and gone. I said I'd take a week off and then it ended up being quite a few weeks. So I'm sorry about that. But I did release a few older episodes, getting caught up on releasing those on YouTube. So I hope you enjoyed those if you are listening along on YouTube. And I definitely have a lot of things to chat about right now in my hamster life, but that's why I haven't done a podcast. You know, it's sort of weird because right when you need to talk about stuff is also when you're really busy. So I guess it's great to be busy in my hamster life, and I feel really happy that I've got new stuff going on all the time. So what's happened since the new year? So you guys know I took in those two Robo sisters, and then I took in another Robo, and tentatively I really struggled with their names, but I think I wanted to come up with like a naming convention that I could stick with, because it's like every time I get a new Robo, I'm like, oh, or a new hamster. So I decided to go with jazz names. I'm a big jazz fan and I sing, and I'm taking piano lessons. So I decided to name the little Robo I got, who was going to be snake food. His name is Stan, as in Stan Getz, the saxophonist. And then we've got the two Robo sisters, Peggy and Ella, as in Peggy Lee, and Ella Fitzgerald, of course. And so now I have these three Robos. And I think since we chatted last, I was getting a Proly 800 square inch cage that I was going to put one of them in. I decided to put Stan in it. And I do like the cage. I feel I'm so tempted to turn around and look at it right now, like, oh, do I like this cage? Is it my favorite? I don't know. It wasn't hard to put together, but it definitely, I think it's a good option if you are in the market. It looks very nice. It's pretty sturdy. I feel like there's like I didn't quite get everything aligned exactly right, or maybe it wasn't quite, maybe it's not my fault. I don't know. There's like one little gap in the top corner. It's not dangerous, but it's just annoying. It's just like, I've never had that issue with a Night Angel cage. So, I don't know. You get what you pay for. You definitely pay more for the Night Angel cages, but they are really nice. So, and the Night Angel cages can easily be broken apart and flat packed again, whereas this, it's like once you put it together, you screw in the screws, it's kind of a done deal. It's kind of more like IKEA furniture, and less like, long-term, I guess, furniture. But I am really happy with it, and Stan is happy. My only bummer is it's like a really beautiful cage, and Stan is like really shy. Like I basically have seen him one time. When did I get him? Sometime in December, like mid to late December. I saw him yesterday when I was in my office, like really late at night at like 1 a.m. He came out to eat some salad I left out. And he just sort of froze, and then he kept eating. He was really cute. I mean, he's so cute. But it is kind of a bummer that he's so scared. And I almost wish I had a hamster who was more interactive in there, because then I could, or even interactive, but just would come out, because I would love to like take photos. But not many photo ops, little Stan. But you know what? Who knows? Things could change. He is a Robo. I know Robos can start out being extremely shy, and then they can get better. So I'm just going to keep working on him, and seeing if I can get him to trust me a little bit here. So Stan is doing well otherwise. I mean, I see on his hamster cam that he comes out every night and he runs a lot, and he's doing well. I gave him the 11-inch Night Angel. It's like a wooden cork wheel. They don't sell it anymore, which is a bummer because it's like so beautiful and well made. And sometimes that wheel's like a little heavy for a Robo, but he does great on it, and I haven't seen him have any accidents. So he seems happy. That's all I can ask for. He's a happy, healthy guy. Very cute. So cute. Oh, I wish I could get more photos of him. And then the Robo sisters, Ella and Peggy. So Peggy is the one with the eye patch. Oh man, I really debated about names for these guys. I'm still kind of like, maybe I'll change them. Like I was trying to think of like sisters or like people who had like eye patches, or like I was like, oh, maybe she could be Left Eye Lisa, from TLC, and then like the other one could be another TLC member. But then I thought, well, that's weird because then it's just two TLCs. I don't know. And then it just felt complicated, and I just wanted a naming convention. So it is what it is. But Peggy, who's the one who's like with the eye patch, she is super outgoing. She comes out all the time. I would say super outgoing for a robo. Like she's curious. She's like a little scared, but she's more curious than scared. And it seems pretty sweet. Like I haven't really like held her. I can like touch her a little bit sometimes. But she'll like come and sniff my fingers. She'll take food from me. And she's come out to the playpen quite a bit. So really exciting there. Ella, the one who has the little toupee on her head, is much more shy. It seems like when I separated them, Ella became more shy and really doesn't come out unless I'm here. So I am hoping that improves. We'll just see. Maybe it's just kind of the shock of the change in situation. But both very cute little things. Oh, yeah. And then the last update I have, and if you follow my Instagram, sorry, I don't know why I said last update, but I did get another hamster. So I got these 3 robos, and then I got another dwarf. So it really does rain hamsters. It just kind of all happened at the same time. This last situation, it was a woman who lived in an assisted living facility, and she was being moved to one that she wanted to be in, a better one, and the new one did not accept hamsters. And she had posted, actually her friend had posted for her in one of the Facebook rehoming groups, and because I wasn't like really specifically looking for more hamsters, I just kind of said like, hey, if you need a place, I'm happy to take them. There were 2 male hamsters. I'm happy to take them, but I'll let someone else take them first because I'm not like in need of a hamster. And then about a month went by and they were still looking for a home, and then she had run out of time because she needed to move. So, and then I ended up getting this like horrible cold over Christmas and it wasn't anything. I got tested for all the things, RSV, flu, COVID. It was just a cold. I think you can still hear it in my voice. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh man, it's gonna make me cough. Just thinking about it makes me cough. Anyway, so I was gonna get the hamsters sometime around the week of Christmas, and then I got this cold, and so it got delayed until January, and then I finally was going to get them last week, and sometime in there, one of them died. One of the male hamsters. I don't know what happened. Because it was kind of like a train. This person had them, and then she gave them to her nephew to watch over for her, and I got them from the nephew. They were in a cage together, and one of them, I found him under a hide. It looked like he had been dead for at least a few days. Like it wasn't like, oh, this just happened. Poor guy. I felt really bad. And they seemed like they're both really friendly. And so I was kind of sad because I was really looking forward to some friendly hamsters. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I mean, sometimes hamsters just die. It's hard to tell. Like maybe they fought. I don't know. So unfortunately, I thought I was going to go from... At the time I had 5 hamsters, right? So I had Maurice and Thor, and then I got these 3 additional robos. So then I thought I was going to get 2 more dwarf hamsters. And so I thought I'd have 7 hamsters, but then it was just one additional hamster. But I will say he is super friendly. He's so sweet. And he looks, I've been missing my original dwarf hamsters, Shirley and Laverne. He looks like Shirley and Laverne, that kind of more Campbell's look with a very pointed face and just sort of like a very curious personality. He's always coming out and looking up at me and wants attention. And he's just so cute. And so I was really really excited to have him. And that was last week. So I got him last week, and I kind of debated about name for a while, but then I think I'm going to go with the jazz names. So then I'm going to name him Dexter, as in Dexter Gordon, another great saxophonist. And so little Dexter, he was living in my spare bedroom, just because I wasn't sure, what the other hamster died of, and wanted to make sure there wasn't anything going on. So he was living in there in kind of a very simple cage setup. And then, so that, when was that? Like Thursday, maybe I got them, or I got him. I was supposed to get them, right? I got them, but one of them had died. And then, on Sunday, I woke up and, I noticed that Thor, one of my robos, had not eaten his food that I had left out the night before. I've been giving him baby food. And I saw him laying in the bedding. He was still alive. He was breathing, but he was just laying there, poor thing. So I scooped him up and I just held him. And I thought he was going to pass away in an hour or something, but it actually was several hours. I kind of held him. I'm not sure how active he was at night, and then it was several hours that I was holding him. I kind of had him tucked in my pajamas for a while, and then eventually it was going on so long, I thought, you know what, I should bring him to the emergency vet, because I just wasn't sure if he was in pain or suffering. And so I made an appointment with them, and I got dressed and I went to go bring him. And then by the time I got the car warmed up, I got him in the car, and then I drove a mile and I looked over at him and he was gone. So that was pretty sad, and it was happy sad. I'm glad that he didn't have some prolonged end of life situation like some of my hamsters have had. But, and I could tell he was having health trouble. I think I mentioned before, he wasn't able to climb things as well. He was getting sort of a hunchback, and he had some other health problems I'll talk about in a second. But I figured, I knew he had been at the pet store for at least 8 months. He maybe was older than I thought he was. I guess I didn't think it was going to happen so fast, but it did. But I'm glad it wasn't prolonged. And the only thing I really regret is just that I didn't hold him, when he died. And it's so hard when you're in that situation. I've been there before where you're do I put them down and try to get them to the vet at the risk that they might just die alone, at the vet, behind a counter. And I always think going to the vet is a good idea. I would never tell someone not to go to the vet, but I think in this case it seemed really clear that he was kind of twitching, and it felt pretty clear that it was end of life for him, and that there wasn't anything they could do. It wasn't he was ill or having trouble breathing or something that maybe he needed antibiotics, something like that. It didn't feel like that at all. So yeah, no regrets. I just wish I had, there's always I wish I'd spent more time with him. I wish I had done this. I wish I'd done that. But, all in all, he lived for at least 8 months in a really small cage at Pet Supplies Plus. He was being sold for $3. And then he lived the last 6-7 months with me in a really big cage. And he came out every day and went to a playpen. And he went from being a really scared hamster to a really gentle guy who I could pet him. I could basically pet his whole body. When I would bring him to the vet, they would marvel at how calm and relaxed he was. So I think that's a testament to, I think the lack of stress in his life, and that hopefully I had provided him a good life. And I feel really happy with that. He did have I think I talked about this on my last episode, but he was struggling. He had some unexplained itchiness, and he also had this abscess that he had developed near his ear. And he had been on Baytril for that, but it did not seem to help at all. So I brought him back to the vet. It was the week before he died. And they basically they sort of softened the area around the abscess and just kind of they didn't even like cut anything. They just sort of like softened it, I think, with some warm, like a warm compress. I mean, they took him behind, so I didn't quite see it, but this is what they told me. They just softened it and were able to just kind of like remove the abscess, like it had been sort of walled off. And they actually showed, they were like, do you want to see? I was like, yeah. So they brought it out on a little cloth. I mean, it was like a pretty big amount of material that had been sort of like lodged sort of near his ear. And I can't imagine that was comfortable for him. So I'm glad that they removed that. And then after removing it, they have put him on a new antibiotic, which now that I'm saying this out loud, I need to call the vet back, because they called me to see how he was doing, and I didn't have the heart to answer and say he died. I was like, oh, I'm going to cry. So I do need to tell them though. But yeah, so, you know, I don't think the abscess had anything to do with his death per se. And he was on a new and different antibiotic, which I had been giving him with some baby food, just to make sure he didn't upset his tummy with the antibiotic. And he always ate everything. Like he was an easy, really easy guy. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm glad that he didn't die with that abscess going on. At least I don't know what that feels like. He didn't act like he was in pain ever. I mean, he was always really active and very sweet and coming out a lot. But I would imagine having it removed was a relief, hopefully. And yeah, if you're kind of new to the hamster world, finding a vet who you really like, and it might take you a few tries, is really great. I have to say, I really love the vets I have now. I think they're really affordable, and not in like they don't charge me for their time, but I think they make smart decisions for the hamster that make sense. Like with this abscess, they kind of just like gently sort of removed it. I had another hamster with an abscess, Laverne, and the vet I had in California with Laverne, she underwent 3 different surgeries to remove the abscess. It was never actually successful. And the anesthetic to go under for the surgery was pretty hard on her body, and it was like really stressful. And then when I moved here and Laverne was still alive, I went to this vet that I have now. And this vet looked at the bacteria that was growing, and then treated for that bacteria. So rather than like just doing surgery, they like tried to figure out what the problem was, and give targeted drugs. And then they also had like more manageable, like they would just kind of like release the buildup in the abscess once in a while, rather than doing this like big under anesthetic surgery. They just kind of did a more like small, kind of like they would quickly just sort of like release some of the pressure. And it just was like way more effective. Laverne didn't have to go through those surgeries. She didn't have to go through the recovery time, and she lived like another year. So, you know, and the cost, not that it's all about cost, and I would pay what I need to pay to make sure my hamsters live lives free of suffering, but it was much more affordable, and like I just felt like it was more appropriate for what she was going through. So sorry, I have a new, my one monitor isn't working, and so I like can't see. So sorry for the mouse clicks. I was like, wait, am I recording? Cool. Anyway, so that's what was going on with Thor, and unfortunately we lost him. Yeah, so it just kind of happened, all this stuff at once. I thought I was going to have 7 hamsters, then I had 6 hamsters, and now I have 5 hamsters. So, yeah, I had to deal with 2 dead hamsters last week, which was pretty hard. But the one kind of nice, gratifying thing is now I have a really nice cage to put Dexter in. So I spent this week cleaning Thor's enclosure and disinfecting everything and washing the sand and all that stuff. And then I set it up for Dexter, and I put him in it last night. And it's just so gratifying. I know people have different feelings about like how quickly they clean out enclosures and move on. For me, I think it just is helpful to like have a motivation to move on. If I have a hamster that needs a home, it's a great way to get some fire under me, because otherwise I'm just sitting looking at a sad empty cage. And I like to kind of like think that I'm sort of honoring the hamsters that came before the hamster that I have, you know, by continuing their legacy, you know, by giving another hamster a good life. And I was just thinking, the wheel I gave little Dexter, it's this Night Angel Dark Clouds, or now they call it the Cloud Series wheel. And it's like an enclosed wheel that's really wide. I had bought this wheel for Steven originally, way back when it first came out. Steven was my robo, and he had really sensitive little paws. And so he used to get bumblefoot, so he had to run on a cork track. And the Clouds wheel came with a cork lining. And he also used to take naps in his wheel, because Steven was like the cutest robo in the world. I don't know if I'll ever meet another robo like him. He used to like just stretch out his little long body inside the wheel, and this one was so cute because he could stretch like lengthwise, like in the width of the wheel. And so his little nose would be pointed outwards or against like one of the enclosure pieces. And he just loved this wheel, and it was so sweet. And so now, you know, I have Dexter with it, and I just keep thinking about Steven and how much he loved that wheel. And, you know, it's just nice. It's nice to kind of pay it forward. So if you're struggling, I don't know if that's helpful for you. If you lost a hamster and you're not sure if you're going to move forward with another one, I think you have all the items. Why not give a hamster who needs a home? And I mean, I think there's no way a hamster can't bring you joy, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm biased, but that's how I feel. So that's all my new hamsters updates. And then otherwise what I have going on, I got a few new hamster items. I was setting up this New Year's playpen, and I wanted it to be all like iridescent and blue and purple kind of. So I splurged and I got that Bukastat iridescent wheel. It's like clear acrylic, but it has like a sheen, like a rainbow sheen to it. It's a little bit less noticeable than I thought it might be, but it's still there. It's really pretty in photos if you have the lighting right. And I mean, I've been wanting this wheel for a while, but I was like, come on, I have so many wheels. Why do I need this? So this finally gave me an excuse. It's really beautiful. And what else did I put in there? I did buy a few more things. Sorry, 1 second. I have this music that all of a sudden started playing in my head, and okay, there we go. Sorry. Very distracting. So what else did I buy for that playpen? I got a new, there's these little mountain, I've been seeing them on Amazon for a while. It looks like a little mountain top with snow on top of it. So I got one of those, and in purple. And then what else do we have? I think most of the other things are things I had. I think it was mostly just that wheel, and the mountain. Oh, and I got one iridescent white little hide. Yeah, it's, you know what? I am very happy with this setup. Little Peggy has come out quite a few times and enjoyed the playpen. Dexter was just in there a few minutes ago, enjoying it. And, it makes for great photos. I do have to say, all the shiny things, all the iridescent stuff, plus if you have some twinkle lights for the reflection, so great. And they're loving it too. And then everything else I have in there is just stuff I had around the house. I had this crystal asparagus dish that I got, I think, in an antique store, and I filled that with some hemp and then some flowers and seeds and stuff so they can dig in there and forage, and they look really cute. So that's been pretty fun. I wasn't sure if I was going to set up a Valentine's Day playpen, because it takes me a while sometimes to get everything in there and ready, and then And then, it's like, oh, well, we're already at the next holiday. But I don't know. Maybe I will. We'll see how much energy. I feel like it's been a pretty busy month already. Yeah. So I might just hold on to this New Year's kind of like snowy, wintry look for a little while here. Well, I won't make any promises, but we'll see. But I do have some cute Valentine's Day stuff from Little Ham Designs if I wanted to do a Valentine's Day setup. And I have tons of red things. I could totally do that. Yeah. I don't know what I'll do for March, though. I do have an Easter setup, too. I don't know when Easter is, so we'll see. But this is like a really fun little, like, totally meaningless outlet. I love the Playpen setup because it just like gives me a creative thing to do that has no time constraints and like there's no pressure. So it's just like I can just do it, but like it doesn't really matter. If you don't have an outlet like this, I recommend getting one because it's very healing for the soul. It's really great, and great if you can take photos. Let me see if I had anything else on my list of updates. I did have a lot of other names that I thought about for the hamsters. I wrote these down. I was thinking about, because Maurice is named after Maurice from Beauty and the Beast, I was like, well, what if all my hamsters had Disney names? So then I was thinking for the sisters, naming them Anastasia and Drizella from Cinderella. And then, all the other ones would get, Gaston or whatever, maybe more obscure names than that. But I don't know. I mean, I guess I am kind of Disney obsessed, but I have been trying to break away from that a little bit and like sort of be a little bit less, I don't know, kind of come up with my own stuff. Then I was thinking about names from Jane Austen books. Like there's lots of sisters in Jane Austen books. So like Elizabeth and Jane Bennet, but then I thought like Elizabeth and Jane, I don't know if those are really hamster names to me. Then I thought about Downton Abbey and I was like, I could name them Edith and Sybil, but then what about Mary? I don't know. And then I was going to name all my hamsters like flowers, like Iris and Rose, or like maybe herbs for the male hamsters. Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel totally sold on the jazz names yet, but I do feel like it's like a pretty decent option and will supply me with endless names. But if you have any opinions, please let me know. I would love to hear them. Yeah, I think is that everything? I guess so. I did get for Christmas. I got this one hamster hide that's like it's like a computer. It says family computer. I have to put it together. I think I'm going to record myself putting it together and time lapse it. But it is pretty cute. So once I do that, it would look really cute in my current Playpen. And I don't know why I've been lazy about it, but I will upload that in case you want to see it. So I think next episode, I'm going to do a whole episode about how I clean my cages after the death of a hamster. I think it's no really different than how I generally clean and disinfect. It's not like I do anything particularly crazy, but I do wash the sand. I don't throw away sand. Everything I think can be either washed or baked. The only thing that I do get rid of is the bedding and like moss, right? And I try to compost that if I can. My city does not take compost from I think like November to April. So I have this like pile of bags of compost. And it's starting to get a little out of control. So I did have one bag that I put in the trash, but I try to compost it if I can. I know not everyone has that option, which is frustrating. And it's hard with paper bedding because you can't easily like just put that outside. It's just kind of icky. If you have like, the coconut fiber, I mean, that you could just put on your garden. So hopefully you have city composting. And if you do, then you can get those large green compost bags. It's like a garbage bag, but it's made of compostable material. And then you can put all your bedding and stuff in there. And then your city can take it away. So that's what I do. And I'm going to do a blog entry and I'll probably put a page on my website about this. yeah, so I'll do that soon, and that will probably be my next episode if you're interested in that topic. And then speaking of my website, Amazon changed the way they do linking. So I had on my website lots of like links to products that I use, and like, oh, if you need like, these are my favorite wheels, these are my favorite enclosures. Now they changed everything. So now absolutely nothing on my website worked. So I had to go back and change every single link. I'm not done. Every weekend, this is what I do on the weekend. But it's been kind of great because I realized a lot of the pages like I had not looked at or touched in maybe a year at least. And some of them I just hadn't finished. I think I just got burned out. So I am going through and updating all those pages. Some of it is repetitive. Like, you know, I have like a page like I sometimes, but I think I'm just trying to touch all bases. So like if someone Googles hamster sand bath, they have a page that they can look at and learn everything they need to know about hamster sand baths. Like, what are your options? What kind of sand should you buy? Where can you get it? What are good sand bath containers? Because the thing is, like, a lot of times, like, you could buy the fancy Night Angel one, or you could get a Pyrex container from Goodwill. Like, there's a lot of variation in what works. And I think if you don't know, then it's hard to figure that out. So I'm trying to make a page that really addresses all of those questions and concerns so that people just have answers that are easy, and don't require like a lot of, you know, like, I mean, I feel like what I did, which is like watched 1,500 videos and like spent a day in hamster forums. I mean, I think it's great if you have the time and energy for that, but I just want the information to be easy and easy to find. So I'm working on that. If you notice that my website, sometimes like some parts of it are missing those images to products, that's why. But hopefully in the next couple weeks I'll be finished, and it'll be up and back in action. Yeah. Oh, and then my final update. Sorry, this is a long one. I got this really cool thing from Amazon. It's like a mushroom that you screw it, like a screw. I don't know. It's a nutcracker. That's what it is. It's a nutcracker. So I wanted a nutcracker. I asked for one for Christmas. Nobody gave me one. So I bought one for myself, and I was going to get one of those squirrel, like metal nutcrackers. But then I read some of the reviews online and they were sort of mixed. So then I decided to get this, this mushroom thing, and it's like, it has a little hole in the center of the mushroom, and you put a nut in there, and then you screw the top of the mushroom in, and that cracks the nut. And it is so effective. It works way better than the squirrel one, where you had to have a lot of hand strength to crack a nut, like especially like a walnut or something a little bigger and harder. This is like, you really don't have to have a lot of strength, and because it's sort of closed on three sides, like on most of the nut, the pieces of the nut don't go everywhere. Like when you crack something with the squirrel kind, the pieces go everywhere. But in this case, it just kind of stays. So that's been really great and gratifying, because I've been able to finally give my hamsters some cracked nuts as a treat. So I just put like a walnut or a whole pecan in there, and then I crack it, and I just kind of let them do the rest. So Syrian hamsters, I think you have to like drill a hole to get them started, but they can do much more of the work. But dwarf hamsters really don't have the ability. So you do have to kind of like crack it open for them, but they still have to do the work of getting it out of there. So it is a really fun treat to give your hamsters. They all go crazy for the walnuts and the pecans. So that's been really fun to see. So if you're looking for a fun treat for your hamsters, highly recommend some whole nuts that are cracked. And I have links to all this stuff on my website. I'll do a blog post just for this entry too, with links to everything if you're interested. And if you have any comments or feedback, you can leave them in the YouTube comments below, or you can email me at rachelgothamsters@gmail.com. And I hope you all are having a wonderful start to your new year, a wonderful start to your hamster New Year's, and let me know what's new in your world, and hope to see you at my next episode. Okay, thank you.